Tonight, the Harbor Pirates, led by talented wideout Travis Langley, traveled to crosstown rival Santa Cruz to attempt to slow down the section's leading rusher, Jonah Hodges, and the Cardinals. It's the battle for the conch shell next on CTV Sports. Good evening and welcome here to Santa Cruz, California for our CTV Game of the Week. Along with the coach, Kurt Edwards, my name is Tim Swartz. And Kurt, crosstown rivals, maybe one of the best rivalries in the SCCAL.
I think so. These teams know each other. They play, this is their 43rd time they're playing each other. The kids are neighbors. They've played Pop Warner against each other, with each other. They're ready to go, and they want to set the tone for football for the rest of the school year.
Look at the latest results for both these teams. Harbor last week, they had a bye week, but the game they had before that bye week, kind of a strange one.
Very strange. They went down to Soledad, got half the game in, and then Mother Nature took over. Then they came up to Harbor, where they ended up taking second place against Soledad.
On the other side, Santa Cruz comes in as maybe the hottest team in the league.
They are on fire. There's a two-game winning streak. They join up the San Lorenzo Valley, beat the Cougars 31-14. They are on fire, and they've got a pretty good set of running backs.
Yeah, their main one, Jonah Hodges, leading the CCS in rushing. How is the Pirates going to stop him?
They're going to have to really stay home defensively. They're going to have to work the gaps on the defensive end of the line, and, of course, they're going to have to figure out how to stop him before he gets the ball.
We'll see the game plan coming up next. It's the CTV Game of the Week here from Santa Cruz. Harbor and Santa Cruz coming up next on CTV Sports. Lights have taken full effect here at Santa Cruz High School. Harbor and Santa Cruz, the crosstown rivalry, coming up here on CTV Sports. A presentation of Community Television of Santa Cruz County, a nonprofit membership organization serving county residents by providing education and tools to access media. Visit us at communitytv.org. We're bringing the coach, Kurt Edwards. And Kurt, we start out with Coach Cox and his keys.
Jeff Cox says that we're going to have to stop their O-line and contain number 20, and that's Jonah Hodges. And, of course, the battle is going to be in the trenches. If they're going to stop anybody, that's where they're going to stop them.
Hey, our guys are pumped. They want to see it because they got coaches on their campus as a security guard, and so it's never anything negative, but they always do a little chalking back and forth, and, it goes, they're pumped about getting an opportunity, and they see those guys all the time in the community, so they love to compete against them, so it'll be a fun game.
There's Coach Cox talking a little bit about how friendly of a rivalry it was. A lot of friends on each other's sidelines. We'll look into the other side for Coach Bubba Trumbull and his keys to this game.
Coach Trumbull, he's very effective. He says we're going to have to be effective running the ball. He's got two great running backs. Protect the ball. In other words, zero turnover. Sounds like one heck of a coach there. And apply pressure defense against the Pirates.
Most of those kids went to junior high together. They've known each other for Little League or Pop Warner for years. So it's always a little extra when you know the guys you're going against. And it's for the city championship, so we take some pride in that.
So for Coach Trumbull, one of the big weapons in this game is going to be his running back. We go down to the field. The third member of our broadcast team, Daniel James Howell, is standing by.
Thanks, guys. This year on CTV Sports, we've seen several prolific rushing attacks. Watsonville's quarterback, Lamar Cowens, the tremendous running back out of SoCal, Fabiano Hale. This week, the story is going to be Jonah Hodges. He's a shifty back. He makes people miss in open space. The Cardinals are going to do what they have to, moving him around behind the line of scrimmage, put him in the slot, split him out wide as a wide receiver, and do anything they can to get the ball in his hands. Nobody's been able to stop Hodges so far this year. He leads the league in rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, attempts per carry, yards per game, and nobody has slowed this guy down. Harbor's going to have a tough time, but another opponent trying to slow Hodges down this week, after all the rain we've had, is the turf. Difficult field conditions here at Memorial Stadium. Probably will slow Hodges down a little bit. We'll look to see if he'll be able to make his cuts. Back up to you, Tim and Kurt.
Thanks a lot, Daniel. We'll be checking back with Daniel at halftime with each of these coaches. We'll look at the Sentinel Power Poll. We see this Santa Cruz team catching in at number 4.
They are doing that one. Harbor down on the bottom, number 10. They've had a tough start of the season, but they're coming off a bye, a lot of recruiting. But those are four great teams. Monte Vista, Scotts Valley, who we saw last week, Aptos, who we're going to see really soon, and of course Santa Cruz, who we're going to get a chance to see tonight.
And Harbor is number 10 in that poll, but they've been playing a little bit better, I think, than their record indicates. The last time out against Soledad, we mentioned it in our open. It was just a strange game.
It was a strange game. They were down at Soledad. I believe the game was tied at halftime, and then weather came in.
Yeah, 7-7 midway through the third quarter.
Then they said, well, forget it. And then the superintendent and the principal down there at Soledad said, well, you guys came down here. We'll come up to Harbor. And they did, and Soledad took it to the Pirates on the very next day. Kind of a weird way. It's the strangest home series I've ever heard in my life, when one game and you're being at both places at the same time. Little peek out there. There's Bill Bunner in the white hat. He's the official for tonight's game, and there's the rest of that crew. You see Debbie Johnson. There's Rudy. Tony's going to be a great one. Graham. Very good officiating crew. Bill Bunner, again, he's going to be the lead duck out there this time. And the turf out there, Tim's going to be interesting because we've had some rain. So we're going to find out how slippery it may actually be on whether or not we're going to have some slippery running backs.
And as you called Bill Bunner in our first game, the prolific Bill Bunner, who got a good laugh out of that one.
No, that was the illustrious Bill Bunner.
Illustrious, sorry.
Now I'm calling him a lead duck. I can't wait to see what he's going to say now.
But we saw him in the first week game between Watsonville and SLV, and he did a tremendous job. There was an incident early in that game. 2 players were ejected, and after that, nothing else happened.
Well, Bill's done a great job. He's a former coach, baseball coach, player, everything at Aptos High School. Been in academics for a long time as a vice principal and principal, so he knows how to work with just about everybody he's going to run in contact to.
And Mr. Jesse Buck Trumbull. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, if you look over on the scoreboard end of the field, you'll find flying above the entrance the flag of the greatest nation on earth. Would you all please stand and rise, remove your headgear, and honor us all in paying tribute to that flag with the playing of our national anthem by our own Cardinal Regiment. And thank you, Harbor fans. Welcome back to Santa Cruz High School. We always enjoy having you, our neighbors.
We're back here at Santa Cruz High School. The Harbor Pirates, the crosstown rival, invading in the battle for the conch shell with the coach, Kurt Edwards. My name is Tim Swartz. And Kurt, we gave the game keys a little bit closer to kickoff. If you're Harbor, we saw the power poll. They're number 10 in the power poll. Santa Cruz is number 4 in the power poll. What's maybe the one thing that you think the Harbor Pirates have to do tonight to make this a close one?
Well, I'm going to add one more to actually control the trenches. They're going to have to win the battle at the line of scrimmage and not let those talented running backs led by number 20, Jonah Hodges, out the door and down the line of scrimmage. But they also have another one, and that's number 25, Locatelli, who's equally just as dangerous when he gets his hands on the ball as well. But they're going to have to, no turnovers, Tim. That's just what all of us old coaches used to say. But definitely control the line.
So Hodges is back to receive as well. Left to right comes Harbor in their home uniforms as well. This one goes right into the middle of the gunk. It's loose for a moment, and it looked like Locatelli was able to collect it at the 33-yard line. That's where the Santa Cruz Fly offense will take over with the 1st and 10. Here are their offensive starters. Just in a moment after the first play.
And we'll get it underway. We'll make Mr. Bunner earn his paycheck. There's Joe Rocha. He's going to be the quarterback. He's going to be the one that's going to navigate that fly. And you can see the plethora of backs and wide receivers that are fantastic. Look for number 20, Jonah Hodges, and that offensive line, not that big, but very, very quick, with Ortiz at the center. He's going to be one of the key elements to getting everything off the dime.
And 10 players on the field for Harbor, so they're going to have to use their first timeout before this one's even underway. It'll give us a chance to introduce you to Bill Bunner, who is our game official, as well as go over the starters for the Harbor Pirates. They come into this game at 1-3. Their lone victory was against Stevenson down in Pebble Beach. They have lost to Pajaro 46-0. They lost to Mills, a Peninsula Athletic League team, 15-12. And they lost to Soledad, as we mentioned, their last game. They played 2 weeks. So here's their defensive starters in the secondary. Look out for Christofferson. He's a ball hawk.
These are the linebackers are the ones who are going to have their trouble. Langley, Fonseca, and Juarez are going to be very tested in that defensive front up, and they're just going to have to hold that line of scrimmage, really not give anything, not get their shoulder pads turned at all. And that's just going to be one of the keys that we're going to be looking at the entire time. But if Holzer, Francis, Bailey, and Andrew can do it up front defensively for Harbor, Harbor's got a shot.
It's going to be a tall task to slow down this potent Cardinals attack. First play of the game, it's a sweep left. Hodges takes it, crosses the 35-yard line to the 40. Open field, see ya. 40-yard line, he cuts upfield to the 30. As advertised, Jonah Hodges has come to play. 66 yards on the first play from scrimmage.
Now you can see what happens, Tim. A little celebration down there. Jonah says that's just a warm-up, gang. I'm just kind of getting started. That sweep. Now the fly offense, everything runs from motion from their tailback, or not the tailback so much, but from their slot receiver. Number 20 is that when you bring him in motion, and it's the sweep from that particular position that's the key play in this fly offense. And we've watched the PAT is good.
And Tanner Cole put it through.
That's going to be the key right there. Can they hold that line of scrimmage? They did not hold the corner. Hodges was able to get around the corner, and he was gone.
Hodges started out in the right slot, and once he got upfield, he knew where he was going, and it was hard traction for this Pirates defense.
Now, we mentioned a little bit about the turf. We watched the junior varsity game that was won by Santa Cruz in a landslide. And it didn't look like it was tough sledding at all for any of the running backs. And it didn't look like it was tough sledding for Hodges one bit. He was just able to pick his way right down the field. Nice little cutback going across the green. Good job of protecting the football. I know Bubba Trumbull preaches that at every practice. Hang on to the rock.
Back here at Santa Cruz High School, 28-6, the Santa Cruz Cardinals lead the Harbor Pirates. I want to thank everybody that's made this presentation possible, starting out with Cruz.io Internet, Santa Cruz County's largest independent internet service provider, offering high-speed wireless internet, a co-location data center, and flexible workspaces with 10 gigabytes of fiber internet. Details online at cruzio.com. At Mountain Mike's Pizza since 1978, the idea has been simple: provide high quality and custom made food using only the freshest and finest ingredients. 33 years later, Mountain Mike's Pizza is holding fast to those same core values. On the web at mountainmikes.com, order online or call 477-7760, located at 37th and Portola in Santa Cruz. At Mountain Mike's, it's pizza the way it ought to be. And by Benson Masonry, specializing in all forms of residential and commercial stone masonry, including fireplaces, retaining walls, block foundations, and decorative patios. Benson Masonry, 479-9636. Stone masonry specialist serving Santa Cruz County since 1981. Well, it was a first half filled with highlights, filled with pictures, and here we see them. It started out with the first play from scrimmage. Jonah Hodges took it to the house.
Just starts on his 20-yard line. Let's see a little bit of cutback, but really, nobody really laid a paw on him the entire 80 yards. What a great way to start off a football game. Then, Harbor couldn't get anything going on their first attempt, so they're going to have to punt. Locatelli takes this one, starts it up the middle, then kicks it to his left. Gets that corner, great block inside by the rest of the Cardinals, and he's down the field.
And there was one final block there, we just saw it.
Yeah, and he's in for the touchdown. So 2 huge big plays and 2 huge touchdowns real quick.
And then the misdirection, they had run the same exact play for the first play from scrimmage for 6 yards to Hodges. So they decided, let's fake it up and give it to Locatelli. So fast in the open field, that was 76 yards. That was the last play of the first quarter. It was 20-0 after 1.
Definitely looked like things were getting out of hand for the Harbor Pirates, but they were going to come back. Fonseca gets this nice pass to Harris, who slips a couple tackles and then pushes it up the field, getting it in good field position for the Harbor Pirates. And Harbor's decided to stay with that aerial game since it seems to be working, and it's to Harris again dodging a tackle, pulling his way up the field to set up a touchdown lunge for the Pirates.
And it was Potnod who was able to fight his way into the end zone on 3rd and goal. Made it a 20-6 game. It was about a 9-minute and a 35-second drive, but it was the double handoff, and Hodges ended up with it, and he turned the corner.
Yeah, Santa Cruz likes to answer, and all good football teams will do that. And Hodges just has such great acceleration and good peripheral vision, looking downfield and being able to pick his way right through just about any defense.
And we are at the sidelines with the home head coach, Daniel James Howell, with Coach Bubba Trumbull.
Hi, we're here with Coach Trumbull from Santa Cruz. Coach, we came in talking about Hodges. There's another guy out there named Locatelli. Tell us about him.
Nick's senior running back for us, been fantastic all year. Everybody's got to key Hodges. You have to. And Nick's given us a counter punch. He does his job fantastic. He was able to get a great punt return for us tonight too. And the work he's put in is definitely paying off.
So big lead coming out of the half here. Probably want to run the ball, take some time off the clock. Tell us, is Joe Roca going to have to throw a pass tonight at all?
I hope not. He took a pretty big hit on him last attempt through a pick. So I prefer we just get that run game going. Defense needs to shore a couple things up. We're not happy giving up points on that one drive, but they put it together a nice long drive. Kudos to them, but we don't like that happening on our home field, so I'm hoping our defense can play a little better.
Looking great, Coach. Thanks.
Thank you.
So that's Coach Trumbull from the Cardinals. Back up to you, Tim and Kurt.
Thank you very much, Daniel. We're back up here in the press box here at Santa Cruz High School for the Santa Cruz Cardinals in the battle for the conch shell, leading 28-6 over the Harbor Pirates. With the coach, Kurt Edwards, I'm Tim Swartz, and not just a football game here tonight.
No, but also a homecoming. Akasua Basua, there you see her getting the lovely bouquet of roses, and she is the queen, and the king is Mr. Scott Shepard. Congratulations to both of you, too, on a fabulous night here at Santa Cruz High School.